launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of this Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show here. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a great 2 hours of Tampa Bay sports-centric talk coming your way. Peter Blake, my man here, running the show today, joining me as he always does. So good morning to you.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Good. It's a great Monday. What a great weekend packed with incredible Tampa Bay sports. We got so much to get into. I mean, I'm just effing pissed at the Yankees. I'm so tired of their act. It is so tiring. And I'm also pissed at the Rays. I am pissed at the Rays for not retaliating. We're going to get into this, and it's not as simple as that, but we're going to get into this in just a little bit. And we got sound from Brandon Lau, which may be one of the best sound bites of the year in baseball.
Absolutely. I mean, and it kind of puts things in perspective, if you will. And I get it. You want to retaliate because what is it, like 12-2?
12-2.
12 times they've hit the Rays hitters, and 2 times the Rays have done it to them. But I don't know. I mean, again, I think the
12 is bad.
Right.
The 2 might be even worse.
Right.
To be quite honest with you.
Agree.
Yeah. And we'll
I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
We got lots of Bucs talk to get to as well. Over the weekend, Ryan Jensen and the Bucs dropped the bombshell. Well, I guess not a bombshell. I mean, we all kind of saw this coming with Ryan Jensen, but it's been a very interesting situation from the very beginning with him choosing stem cell therapy over conventional surgery. We found out why when we talked to Ryan after the game. So we're going to get into that, listen to that press conference. Very interesting if you haven't heard it, very emotional from Ryan Jensen. So we'll get into that. Also, Baker Mayfield spoke with the media, very confident about his performances in the preseason, and why shouldn't he be? He was 14 of 15 in the preseason. He was perfect the other night. I asked him if he feels like he's played enough. We'll hear that answer, and I think you can read between the lines there. But whatever, they're getting ready to take on Minnesota, so we'll update you on all the Buccaneers stuff from Saturday night, the good stuff that we saw, the bad stuff that we saw. By the way, nice job getting us up on the post-game show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes.
We did a live post-game show from the stadium, took calls as well. So we're hoping to have that up and running each and every game this year. So you'll be able to instantly react after the game with us.
Phone calls are interesting, to say the least. A couple of people that had a little overserved, if you will.
A couple oxys and a beer. Never hurt anybody after a football game, right? But doesn't make for great conversation, but whatever.
No, it doesn't.
So we'll check all things Buccaneers and look forward to the season coming forward. TJ Pittenger is going to join us. Very popular FSU football podcast. What is it? Double Fries, No Slaw.
Double Fries, No Slaw.
Great
yes.
podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
So we'll talk with him about all things FSU coming up. Big weekend of college football. Did you watch any college football this weekend? I did.
I didn't get a chance to watch. I heard Notre Dame really was impressive, 42-3 . But what do you take? Navy.
You for padding my bank account on that one, Sam Hartman.
Right. How much did you win on that one?
I don't talk about my units.
See, you know what?
Talk about my units on this show.
I asked the same. I do the same thing with my co-host Harry the Greek, who's a professional handicapper extraordinaire. I always ask him how much you win.
The government's watching.
Right, never talks about it. Right. So, I mean, what do you take out of that? 42-3 over Navy. I mean,
Sam Hartman's really good. He's a great quarterback. I've seen him dice up Florida State for many years at Wake Forest. Now he goes where he's got a really, really good offensive line and some great weapons. Notre Dame could be a factor. Sneaky good Notre Dame. I like, they beat Navy. Navy's, hasn't been great lately. They got a new coach over there in Ireland and what have you. I just think Notre Dame has got a lot of elements, and they've got a lot of big games too. I think they're hosting Ohio State for the first time in like 90 years.
Wow.
So that should be interesting. Notre Dame got started. USC, Caleb Williams, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. We'll get into some college football talk as well. Lots to get to today on the JP Peterson Show. You can always jump in and comment with us as well in our comment section. So do that on Facebook, on Twitter, and we'll get your comments and read them as we go through this. So that's how you can interact with the show. We're still working on getting the phone calls.
We will get it.
We'll have that coming up. So
we may actually
have
it.
A blessing and a curse, as we saw in the
post-game
show.
Correct. And we may have it tomorrow because there is another big story besides Ryan Jensen and the Rays.
Glad you mentioned that hurricane coming towards us. This one, listen, I am not a meteorologist, but I might as well be, because I've watched these storms for my 60 years of living. God, I hate to even say that, in Florida. I know these meteorologists. Our good friend Dennis Phillips, who I think is one of the best in the business, by the way.
He is the best in the business.
This right. This one is supposed. We got a cold front coming from the north, and every time there's a cold front, they always seem to underestimate the steering currents of a cold front, and they have it going up into the Panhandle. So my guess is it's going to push it south.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be us.
Correct.
So it looks like a cat. They're saying a cat 2, but as we saw last year, the old trends are not the new trends. We haven't had water this hot in a while, so I would expect this to intensify a little bit more. I'm very, very conservative when it comes to hurricanes. I don't get scared. I don't get spooked. I'm just like, this one has me a little bit concerned, to be quite honest. This one has me a little bit concerned because of what happened last year, the quick intensification that happened last year, and the one in the Panhandle. So, and Ian as well. So let's keep an eye on this one. I would say if my fear level here on a 1 to 10 is about a 6.5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to take this one a little bit more serious.
And you're absolutely right, because you look at the track last year of Ian, it was supposed to hit here, and of course it went south. You talk about Charlie in 2004, it was supposed to hit here, went south, and with that cold front there, the projected track is the Big Bend area. So if that cold front comes down, you're exactly right.
Nudges at 60, 90 miles.
Right.
It's coming right up Tampa Bay, and that's the storm surge thing that really, really has never happened since the 1921 hurricane, when the South Tampa Peninsula was completely flooded over. So, yeah, this one's got me a little spooked.
I agree.
Maybe we'll get Dennis on the show tomorrow if he's not too busy.
Maybe. Well, I'll try. I'll try to get him on. But he always says rule number 7: don't panic don't freak out unless I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Doesn't look like he's freaking out.
He's not freaking out, but he's a guy that's definitely on it, and he'll be on it, and just tune into his channel.
Now, how does this affect our sports world? Well, the Bucs are off Tuesday and Wednesday.
Right.
So they or Monday and Tuesday.
It would affect the Rays, wouldn't it? Because the Rays are traveling down south for the Marlins series.
Yeah, but Miami's clear.
Right.
Miami's free and clear.
Okay.
So yeah, I think
you'll hope.
I don't see it. I don't think it's heading that far south.
No.
So
yeah,
I think they'll start a series on Tuesday. They are already left, by the way. They're already down enjoying South Beach, the boys. So
okay, good.
So let's go ahead and jump right in with the Yankees and the Rays. Look, it's 14 or 12-2 now in terms of hit batsmen, and it's not just as horrific as those numbers are. It's the way that they've done it. Yesterday, Ian Hamilton plunks Paredes in the head, right? And everybody said, "Oh, well, you didn't mean to throw it." I don't care. They are throwing at the Rays big boppers. Yandy Diaz has been hit 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Arozarena has been hit 3 times, twice by Abreu.
Because they don't like how he celebrates and does this thing.
Yesterday's meaning of Arozarena was 0 question, no doubt about it.
Yep.
Plunked him.
Yep.
And these umpires
how you not throw it out a pitcher
are morons.
Right.
And the umpires are gonna get somebody killed. And here's the problem. Clearly, Kevin Cash, the umpires are not going to do anything about this. Clearly, the Yankees are not going to stop doing it. So the only way to protect your players is to order the code red. And I'm frankly shocked that the pitchers haven't done it themselves. Because the baseball players that I've talked to that have played this game, the pitchers that I've talked to, that they said, and one of my friends said this, is that he said, I'm surprised Randy Arozarena, or one of the position players who keeps getting plunked, hasn't gone down to the bullpen and whipped somebody's ass. This is how you divide a locker room. If your pitchers are not going to protect your position players, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. And these Rays pitchers are not protecting their players. They're not.
No.
And probably because the organization or Kevin Cash has said, we're not getting into this because we've got games to win. I get that. But even yesterday, there's 2 outs. You got a 3-run lead in the 9th. Okay, nobody on. Nail them. Smoke them. You got to hit. You've got to start because you're not going to play the Yankees again. Right?
You're not. I don't think you're going to play them again. And here's the thing:
everybody's like, we'll wait till next year.
Right.
F that.
Right.
F that.
Right.
You're going to rent. The Rays are lucky. They're lucky that Yandy Diaz is not out for the rest of the year. And if he was out for the rest of the year, you want to talk about done? This team would be finished.
Absolutely.
And you're going to allow the Yankees to continue to plunk your players. At some point, it's on Kevin Cash and it's on the Rays pitchers to protect their players. This is, as you know, do I like the fact that we're talking about throwing 95 mile an hour, 100 mile an hour fastballs at players? No, I don't like that. But it's the only way to stop it. The only way to get your guys stopped stop getting hit is to hit the other team. At every Aaron Judge at bat should have been a rocket in the ribs every single time until they get the message that if you're going to throw at us, we're going to throw at you. And you got a lot more to lose than we do because Aaron Judge is your only player. And if every time Aaron Judge steps up into the box, then I don't care if pitchers are getting thrown. Well, clearly the umpires aren't throwing pitchers out, so take your shots.
Right, but that would be the case where the umpire would actually throw out a Rays pitcher because they would know. Well, you would
don't
think
have to, but normally you're supposed to.
You're supposed to do it.
If there's no warnings being given, be the first one to do it.
But these umpires are not consistent. That's the thing, and I think that's what the Rays are looking at, and they're also looking at losing players long term or for an extended period of time because
that's
still
the point.
Right.
You can't wait for the umpires to do something. You got to, I don't care who it is. You get your worst reliever, send him out there and go. Because if they throws him out, he throws him out. Whatever. What if you lose the game? You know what? At this point, I don't care. I'd rather lose a game than lose respect and allow these guys to continue to throw at your guys.
I agree. You have to have some retaliation.
Game after game after game.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And the league should do something. They're not. The umpires should do something. They're not. So at some point, you got to take matters into your own hands. And that's what Randy Rosarena did yesterday.
Yeah.
He had enough. And Yandy Diaz had enough. If you could tell, they had to hold him back because I'm telling you, these conversations are being had in this clubhouse. Like, we got to do something, Manager Cash. And Manager Cash is the best in the business. But this is a way to lose your team. And I don't know where this is coming from, upstairs or whatever. I don't care anymore.
You know where it comes from. It most likely comes from upstairs. It's not just Kevin Cash. It's upstairs as always. So, and you saw Josh Lowe yesterday.
It feels like it.
Yeah, it does. It feels like a decision from the front office. And you saw Josh Lowe yesterday. He's kind of like trying to massage.
Sacrifice our guys.
Yes.
We don't want to,
But what if you have a major injury? What if you have a major injury to Yandy Diaz or Randy Rosarena?
Could have killed Paredes.
Absolutely.
Could have killed him.
Ridiculous.
I mean,
ridiculous.
That's a
Bush League tactics.
An inch away from getting underneath the helmet.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Bush League.
Yeah, and if they're not gonna, and no wonder the players came out. No wonder Randy got pissed off because he knows nobody's helping him.
Yeah.
His pitchers aren't helping him. His manager's not helping him. The umpires aren't helping him. Yeah. You know what? I don't blame him. I don't like him, being a hothead and going after somebody in normal circumstances. But this is not normal circumstances. Nobody's helping him. What else is he supposed to do? Just sit there and take it at bat after at bat?
No.
Come on, man.
You got to retaliate. You got to do something. You got to definitely do something at the end of the day. 2 bench clearing incidents yesterday. No fights, of course. That's Major League Baseball for you.
Well, I'm surprised that one didn't escalate.
Agree.
I really am. And maybe it was Siri running out of the dugout to get Abreu because I think he knew that something was going to happen between Rosarena and Abreu, which I'm shocked that it didn't. All right, so let's play the Brandon Lau sound after. And Brandon Lau, by the way, talk about once again, it worked again. I said I got on him. I was get rid of this guy. Whenever I start ripping a Ray, they get red hot. So I took one for the team. Like, I took a 95 mile an hour fastball. I did it. I knew all I got to do is criticize a guy like that, and he's going to get red hot. And he has been smoking hot. That bomb he hit yesterday. Every time I see a ball hit that net over the Rays tank.
Yeah.
I say to the PETA people, screw you. Screw you. We could have seen another splashdown. We literally have a net over the Rays tank because of a ball landing in there is somehow going to hurt a Ray.
I know we're going to get out to Brandon Lau here, but the tone was kind of set with Randy Arozarena and his hustle play.
Yeah.
Aggressiveness.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, you have overthrow from the second baseman, then the center fielder, Air Mills, it's a third, and then he gets home. I mean, and a perfect slide, perfect hook slide, just IQ, aggressive base running by Randy Arozarena. I'll tell you what, let's go out to Brandon Lau here on the JP Peterson Show. Here we go.
In there, it did get a little bit of chippy. Obviously, we saw the dugouts clear a couple times after Randy was hit by the pitch. Not the only hit by the pitch today or this season series. You guys have been hit 12 times. Did it feel like that was going to boil over and a little bit understandable?
Obviously, tempers flare. The history that we do have with the Yankees, everything that's kind of come through, obviously probably does play a part in it, but looking at it, it's a last place team against a team that's in contention. You know, there's trying to ignite something over there, whatever. Not worth our time at this moment. You know, we're focused on bigger things right now than worrying about a little on-field scuffle. You know, we need each game. They're not really in each game.
All right, so there you go.
That's awesome. That was as good a retort as you could hope for. Well done,
Brandon Lau. But that being said, hold on.
I got
That's as bad as you don't have to put mine.
Yeah, I got you.
Just stay with it. There you go.
I got you. Gotcha.
I was just doing that so I can comment, see the comments.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So that was a great. Did you see Trisha posted that soundbite, by the way?
Yeah.
Did you see the thread of the Yankee fans jumping in? I knew, and they were like, "Oh yeah, where's your pedo player?" I knew that was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where oh you guys like you guys really look like Randy Arozarena was a little bit worried. All this BS from Yankee fans. Yankee fans, you guys, you're a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Your general manager spends $300 million a year. You're the last place, as Brandon Lau said, you're the last place team in the AL East. You guys suck. You play the Arozarena play. Like you look like, I would say you look like little leaguers, but I've seen little leaguers play this week. They're better than the Yankees.
Yeah.
They're better than the Yankees. They don't throw the ball around and let a guy run home that's stealing second. You know, they're really good. You guys suck. I mean, it's so bad. How can you spend this much money and be this bad?
Defensively and pitching, although Cole, give credit to where credit is due on Friday night, pitched to Jim.
You got one player who actually answers the bell.
That's
Garrett
about
Cole,
it. Him and Aaron Judge. That's about it.
What did Aaron Judge do this weekend?
Well, he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing.
No.
And I don't think he got a hit in this series, did he?
No, no, I don't think he did.
Yeah,
maybe one. Maybe
0-4.
All right, let's get to some of the comments here. Even worse, all the stanky fans calling Randy soft or defending their team. Either you're a piece of crap for hitting players or your pitchers really suck. Either way, it's sad. Well said, RJ Martin. Richie, there we go. Yeah. Hey, fellas, watched your post-game show yesterday. Loved it. I'm looking forward to the regular season. You guys killed it. Thanks, man. We're going to try to do that each and every one.
Booyah.
What else we got here? Yes, this Facebook user, I don't know your name, but you're right on. In baseball, you must protect the players. It's time to play plunk ball. Yankees suck almost as bad as the Packers. Oh, I like that.
That was Harry the Greek, by the way.
That Harry the Greek?
That is Harry the Greek. We're going to get him on the show here eventually.
Yeah, let's get him on.
Yep.
If the Rays hit the Yankees, they would be the ones getting ejected or suspended. I don't care. Sorry, Chris. I don't care at this point. You can't continue to allow your guys to be open targets. You take the suspension, whatever. And I know that's why the Rays are saying we can't afford it. If Yandy Diaz was sitting here with a broken arm, would you then say, yeah, I guess we should have done it? Yeah, you would, because you might lose a guy for 2 games, or you might lose a guy for the rest of the season. You know, which could have happened, and I just it blows my mind. RJ says Cash should have at least gone out and blown up at the pitcher and umpires. If you're not going to let the pitcher stick up for themselves by hitting other players, at least stick up for them yourself. Absolutely. 100%. And I love Kevin Cash. I think he's the best manager in baseball, but I don't know what he's doing here. I don't know what he's doing. Absolutely. I would have got up on the umpire's ass and said, how are you not throwing that guy out, especially Abreu, when he hits Randy right in the ribs?
Yeah.
I would go Aaron Boone on him. I would be up in their face and say, if you don't throw him out, you're going to throw me out.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm not leaving until one of us is leaving.
And then on top of it, if Cash does get into the umpire's face, it actually fires the team up even more.
Absolutely.
So
it sends a signal to your players that at least you're fighting for them.
Right.
I don't, because I know Kevin Cash is old school baseball.
Mm-hmm.
He's old school baseball. He knows this better than I do, which is I just don't get it. I think it's coming from above, because if I got to believe it was Kevin Cash's call, he'd be like, yeah, we got a bunch of 98ers. And we can do the same thing. We can retaliate, but they never do.
They never do.
And that's why I know Kevin Cash, and he's trying to play it cool. And I know, I can't believe what I know of Kevin Cash, that he doesn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He's played the game as a catcher. He knows what this is all about. This has to be coming from above.
It has to be. It has to be.
It makes no sense. It makes no baseball sense whatsoever. I'm not. And yeah, like RJ's, and you as a manager, you're not going out there and telling them to throw the guy out. And you don't leave until somebody's ejected. And that makes the point. That gets on SportsCenter. It's like everybody now is like, why was he so pissed? Because the umpires aren't throwing him out. And again, if they're not going to protect your players, then you got to do it.
That's it. And he's not doing it. And you're right. It may be a front office decision.
Yeah, RJ is like, I would have lost my shit as a manager. Put out there after Paredes. Yeah, after Paredes got hit in the head.
I mean, that's a scary situation in itself. You could kill somebody with that.
Would I be out there on the umpire? I'd be halfway in the Yankees dugout going face to face with Aaron Boone.
Right.
I would.
Because he's the one that's making that decision more than likely.
That's the way I look at it.
So, which is, again, Bush League. It's Bush League and cheap tactics and frustration that's boiling over for this Yankee team that once again is cellar dwellers in the AL East. So,
all right, this one from Lonnie. The Rays would give Yankees some more concussion. Hold on, this is the one I want. I'll take Belau saying some truth over a hit batter to a degree. Either way, give me a smackdown. No, listen, it was a great comment, but it doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't stop them from doing it. The only way to stop them is to go after them. This one, cool heads prosper, not into now on to fighting and finishing the season strong.
And that's Mike Stover, by the way.
Mike, I got to disagree with you, because again, if Yandy Diaz was out for the season or Paredes was seriously hurt, would you be taking the same tact? No. And we should have started this. It's 12-2,
mm-hmm.
right? And it was 8-2 before the game started and it hit batsmen. We should have started this long ago, protecting our players, long ago. And the fact that we continue not to do it, the Yankees are laughing at us. Yeah, they won't. They're wussies. They won't do anything about it. They're not going to hit you guys. Don't worry about it. That's what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying. I can't believe that baseball people in the Rays organization are that cool-headed that they would just sit there and say, no, we're just going to take it. We're in it for winning. And no, that's not what that's what front office people would say.
Right.
That's what Stu Sternberg would say.
Exactly. That's who's making the decision. There you go. Let the truth set you free.
Yeah.
It's Stu, and again, it's general manager, but most likely it's Stu.
Some analytics nerd going, well, if we hit them when they hit my pitch, then that would allow them to one base to get there, gives them a 47% chance of scoring that run, and that would give us a 17% chance of not winning that game. And
why do you sound like the general manager all of a sudden?
And that's what they're doing. And they're like, so analytically speaking, we should not retaliate.
That's a great impression.
The analytics, because it's on a page. Go ask Yandy Diaz forearm or Paredes head if that analytics works for them. No, It doesn't.
No.
This is effing baseball, and it's a 99-mile-an-hour fastball coming at you. Screw your analytics. Retaliate.
You want to hear from Kevin Cash? Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to hear from Kevin Cash here?
I'd like to hear from him.
All right, let's go out to Kevin Cash here. Here we go.
The offense in this one, just the at-bats, Brandon Lau, the 4 RBI night, and that big inning started by Harold Ramirez, Christian Bethencourt, everybody. What impressed you about that?
A lot of good at-bats later. Look, Bilal picked us up with the big home run off Rodon in the first, and then he settled in, got kind of nasty, and we kind of went quiet a little bit, but it took a lot of good at-bats to get some guys on base, and Harold, finding some grass out there, turf out there over Glaber's head, that was a big hit, and then Bilal again against another lefty, Wandy, coming up and coming up with his double or single, what it was.
And then obviously at the end there, got a little bit chippy. The dugout's clearing. Randy upset, understandably, by being hit by the pitch. Just what kind of made that boil over? And from your perspective, what did you see?
Yeah, look, a scary moment with Isak and certainly Randy, and Isak getting hit in the head, and then Randy. I applaud Randy for keeping his emotions just enough in check to where it didn't get out of hand. They don't like to be hit. No player likes to be hit, and there's a level of frustration there.
Is there a feeling that, in a season series like this, you guys have been hit by the pitch 12 times in this season series with the Yankees. They've been hit twice. I mean, does that kind of factor into just the frustration maybe?
Well, that's fair. I mean, I think guys, they know when they get hit, and if there's a count difference like that, I wasn't totally aware of the count difference, but that's the best I can say. They know when they get hit, and there's frustration.
Wow.
Were you having words with Boone, or was it with the umpires about the way the situation was handled?
I think, we were basically just trying to calm the situation and get off the field and just complete the game.
Kevin, did you have a problem?
Actually, this is another question.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
With any of the pitches in particular that your guys got hit with? Or was it just the amount of...
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a scary moment when any player gets hit with a mid-90s fastball, and certainly in the head like Isak did.
Exactly.
Is Hamilton trying to hit him on purpose? No, I'm very confident in that he did not. That doesn't make it less scary, though. So to say I had a problem, I would rather my guys not get hit.
Anything else?
To get there and judge 0 for 12, 8 strikeouts in the series, you got to feel pretty good about keeping him at bay.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's one, if not the best player in baseball, to be able to, make a lot of good pitches to him. That helped us win the series.
Going back to the offense, Harold, I mean, how big the hit was, he basically dug it out of the dirt. It's kind of rare back.
I don't know how he does that. Yeah, that is some rare. I mean, the pitch before, he dug out of the dirt and threw the bat to the shortstop, but I'm not sure on the foul ball. So he got good practice at it the pitch before.
And then Randy in the first inning, creating a run with his legs, basically. Just
with who?
Randy in the first, creating a run.
Yeah, got a good jump and then didn't assume anything, and the balls were going all over the place, and great slide there at the end to go to the inside where their catcher was on the outside.
Kevin, 6 innings out of Zach, who really hung in there.
Yeah, Zach had to grind a little bit. I don't think he was quite as crisp as maybe we've seen over his last couple starts, and that's okay. He got burnt by a couple breaking balls in the zone that LeMahieu hit the homer, Higgy hit the homer, but we can kind of overcome some solo shots and kept us in the game. So impressed that he was able to do that and get through 6 innings.
Could tell in those answers from Kevin Cash that there were things he wanted to say that he could not say.
Mm-hmm.
I could just
he was holding back. It seemed like he was holding. You're right.
He's like looking down. He's like, I want to say something. I want to do something, but I can't do it. And then he's trying to give the best face that he can. I just I can't believe that he would allow this. As a baseball fan. This is from our Facebook user. Get cool heads prosper, not into finishing. Now on to finishing the strong. What's it? No, this one. Kicking the Yankees' ass or winning the ultimate prize. Again, I hate to say this, but if Yandy was out for the season or Paredes was hurt, I would have to come back and say we brought this upon ourselves because we're not protecting our players.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's worked for 100 years in baseball, folks. And you got it. If you don't retaliate, you're going to keep getting thrown at. And so this affects your on-field performance. And what if Yandy doesn't recover from this, the smoke on it, because he couldn't play the 2 games this week? They did what they needed to do. They hit him on Friday and took him out of the series. And you did nothing. You did nothing to retaliate. Nothing.
Nothing.
You can say, we won the games and we're trying to win the bigger prize. Well, if those two guys were hurt, you wouldn't be winning shit.
Nope, you're gonna win nothing because you need Yandy. You know how important and clutch Yandy has been down the stretch here for the Rays, and the reason why they're winning series. And once again, taking 2 out of 3 is important. You like the sweep, but you take 2 out of 3, you're in good shape because now you're 2 games out of the race from Baltimore, and you have a couple weeks away from that big time series coming up. I mean that could be the deciding factor. And if you lose a Yandy or a Randy, Randy.
You lost too many already.
Yes. And how many more entries can you sustain for this team? You lose Yandy, to me, your season's on the brink of being done.
You're toast.
Yeah, you're toast.
All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, it's all Buccaneers, folks. We're gonna get into some heavy analysis of last week's preseason game. There we go.
Yep.
We're gonna get into heavy analysis from what we saw Saturday night, the Ryan Jensen issue. Which is somewhat controversial. We'll get some answers for you there. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Get the personal attention you so richly deserve. Scott Jeeves, our good friend, been on the program many, many times. Very approachable. Give them a call. See if you got a case, whatever your questions may be. It's a free call. JEEVESLawgroup.com is the website. Contact them through there. Back in 3. Stay with us. Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local. We're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue. That's my carrier. Love them. Paying $800 left after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance Free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244.
Hey, JP here for Extravaganza Productions Incorporated, EPI. You've probably seen their purple logo at so many events that you've gone to. They are based in Tampa. And for over 33 years, they've been creating and producing conferences, meetings, and special events, the biggest to the smallest. Solid reputation of delivering the best audio-visual, sound, lighting, entertainment, video production, and decor on time and on budget. I've worked with them with so many big events. The Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-style event all over Tampa Bay, from McDill to the Convention Center to USF. They did it flawlessly, made it look big and fantastic. I've worked with them on small events as well. Large and small meetings and conferences, sporting events, fundraisers. If you got a fundraiser, you don't know the logistical way to pull it off, they'll take care of everything. Entertainment events, branding events, grand openings, so much more. The folks at Extravaganza Productions are the most professional and the best. I've worked with them many times. They are fantastic. You can contact them through extravaganzaproductions.com or call 813-621-4700. Extravaganza Productions, they are awesome.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. As we gonna hit the Bucs here really hard. I thought Saturday night that, oh, by the way, we're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES, lawgroup.com, and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, first things first. The Ryan Jensen, well, let's talk a little bit about the game before we get into the Ryan Jensen interview. I thought defensively that first series
was depressing, to say the least, because if that's your starters, and then the Ravens, and keep in mind, this is not Lamar Jackson. This is 57-year-old getting 77 years old. How many teams has he played for? Seems like he's played for that many. Josh Johnson going down 4 plays, 80 yards, and only takes 2 minutes. So, and
that was embarrassing.
Yes.
So surgically taking apart with this backup Ravens offense, surgically taking apart the Buccaneers' somewhat number one defense. Embarrassing on every level. Laquan Treadwell wide open in the middle. There's a coverage bust on a very simple route. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And like, Josh Johnson was drafted by the Bucs in 2008.
Yes.
He played for Jim Harbaugh at San Diego University, not San Diego State.
Right.
University. 2008.
Man. Yes. And started.
I was still working at Channel 8 in 2008.
I know.
Oh, my God. This dude is still cutting you up. 100 years later? My God. I think he signed the Declaration of Independence, and he's just taking you right down the field.
That's it. Right down the middle of the field, too, which is, yes.
Get the negative out of the way.
Yes.
But the offense, I mean, there's a couple of things, that narratives that are out there that I think are misnomers. Number one, Rashad White. Rashad White can play. He can play. He can make guys miss. I love his patience. Everything you saw from this Buccaneers offense last year, I would just throw it out in terms of offensive linemen, running backs, everything. You know, I know there's a narrative about he can't make guys miss. And because of the numbers, if you go and look at the PFF numbers, his yards after contact. And as I said, I was talking to my good friend Lee DeCamper from Joe Bucs Fan, and he cites that stat a lot. And I get it. It's a good stat. But when you look at the tape, when you have 3 guys in front of you, you even if you make the first guy miss, you're not making any yards after contact. And that's basically, and every time plays were even well blocked last year, you had a safety or two, a safety filling a hole in the face, safety filling the outside where you couldn't even spill outside and get outside. So, this, not all runs are created equal, right? And not all opportunities to make guys miss are created equal. If there's 2 or 3 guys there, you're not getting any yards after contact. If there's one guy there and you don't make him miss, put that on the running back. I didn't see that. Every time I saw, not every time, but most times I saw Rashad White last year when he was one-on-one with somebody, he usually made them miss. And that's just from the tape that I saw.
And going back to Seattle, remember, he gives the stiff arm from hell to the defensive player. Get out of the way. And when he gets to that second, that second tier, he's explosive. That's the reason why you draft him in the 3rd round in the first place, and why you're willing to move on from a Leonard Fournette in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could do it all. He really can. And the tempo of the game, the tempo of the offense was amazing.
Fantastic.
You could
the way
even
they get to the line
yeah.
and get to the next play. And we haven't even seen the real tempo yet. The real tempo is even faster than that.
Right.
But they were getting to the line. The operation of the, as you'll hear from Baker, was really, really good. The diversity of the plays, from a tight end jet sweep.
What?
Byron Leftwich had exploded.
Cade Otton on the tight end jet sweep? Really?
Got 11 yards, by the way.
Yes.
There was a fake jet sweep to I think Devin Tompkins and an inside handoff to Rashad White, but it just the difference that you see in this offense and everything, the run game marries with the pass game.
Yes.
Baker's throw to Godwin for the touchdown was between three defenders, just absolutely perfectly timed, perfectly accurate. The touchdown to Wells that Trask had was great. He didn't wait for the fake. He didn't even need the fake. The guy was open. Get it to him in the open field. Touchdown. The timing of this offense looked really, really good. I like what I saw from the offensive line. The offensive line creating some holes.
Yes, that was the best part of the night, I think, because you didn't talk about the offensive line. And when you don't talk about the offensive line, that's usually a good thing. Right.
They were good.
Yeah. Tristan Wirfs.
Off the ball.
Yes.
Yeah. They were providing good protection. It's so much easier to block when the defense has to wait and see what's going on. When they know exactly what's happening, run or pass like they did last year, and know exactly where the quarterback's going to be, it's such a tremendous advantage. And you could see how, even though I know it wasn't a lot of starters for the Ravens defense, you could just see how they had to wait. They had to wait to see what the play was going to be, and that's so much easier for your offensive linemen to play that way. Tristan Wirfs looked very natural at left tackle. Now, again, I would have liked to have seen them play the entire first half.
Agree.
So you can evaluate them on tape.
Mm-hmm.
But they come out without any injuries, which was good stuff. So yeah, let's stick before we get to Jensen. Let's stick with the football game.
Yeah.
So let's play. What do you want to play? Baker Mayfield. Let's listen to Baker post game. Talking about the offense, the operation of the offense, etc.
Baker, you were very efficient again today in that first group and the time that you were out there. Just
6 for 6.
Mm-hmm. I know you practices and all those things, but just how well do you feel like you kind of fit and get a grasp of exactly what they want to do?
I feel extremely comfortable where we're at offensively right now, and I think you guys saw
the kind of groove that Dave got into play calling wise, and not just Dave, but everybody understanding the flow of our game, what we're trying to get accomplished. I think we could have run 20 play action keepers, but we wouldn't have gotten any run in the work game. So we did everything, all the little things right today, and on that second drive especially. So we just got to capitalize later in the game on finishing in the end zone instead of field goals. And but yeah, it was a good outing for us.
Baker, you got Tristan Wirfs, 6'5", 245 pounds, blocking for Rashad White.
He might be heavier than that.
He might be. What's your impression? You hand off the ball and you see Rashad go for 9 yards and 78s plowing the hole.
Mm-hmm.
What goes through you?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a stud. There's no way around it. He was an all-pro at right tackle. There's no doubt he'll be an all-pro at left tackle. Just handles his business. He's young, but he's a pro. So you can only ask to have guys like that in your team, and just how he's handled it and how he continues to handle it. It's just he's not entitled by any means. Same work ethic he's had, and so you see exactly why he's so good.
And Rashad, in terms of running the ball tonight?
Yeah, and Rashad, just his tempo. He's not exactly a flashy guy, real smooth. And so when it comes to our schemes, his running style is really gonna help us out. Following the center tracks and just being able to time it up and make the right cuts. So and people sleep on his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield too. He's extremely talented and athletic in that regard. And we're lucky to have such a great group on the offense.
Baker, there's still a lot of really young players on the squad and the offense. After this preseason has concluded, how do you feel about that going forward?
I feel extremely comfortable. Obviously unfortunate that we lost Russell Gage when we went to New York to practice against the Jets, but I think you guys have seen that Raheem Jarrett and Trey Palmer have made a ton of plays for us, and we're really, really happy about that. And so just the more reps those young guys get, the more confident they get. And so we're just really happy about their grasp of the offense right now, too. Normally rookies' heads are kind of spinning, but that's not the case with them.
We kind of saw how the run game and pass game married together with this offense. Can you just talk a little bit how you like seeing that and how it works for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest way to put it is you just put the defense on their heels. So
Good question, by the
you
way.
make the run game look just like your play action,
I know who is that.
vice versa. So it just keeps them off balance. We're not reinventing the wheel with our scheme. Just formationally and personnel-wise, we're able to get in and out of the huddle and do a lot of things and be pretty versatile. So it's a good tape to be able to build on and just see our identity heading into the first week to where it's real ball. And so guys understand that we have to have both the run game and the pass game to succeed.
You went 4 for 4 with Chris Godwin in there. I know you got him all up in practice, but what's that like to be able to hit up like that?
He's pretty damn easy to throw to. I'll say that. Guys can be draped all over him. He's going to make contested catches. He's just a true professional, and so love having those guys out there. And it'll be fun to have Mike out there as well, week 1.
How would you compare this offense to other offenses you played in, Baker?
Similar to the LA system that I had the 5-game stretch at the end of the year. There's some similarities in what we were trying to do in Cleveland, whether the 12-13 personnel play action game. Just like we mentioned, it's about the marriage of the run and pass, and so you have to have that, and that's where we're headed.
You feel like you've had enough work with the first unit in games to be ready for week 1?
Yeah, I mean, it's always the question in preseason, are you going to play your guys or not? But we've had a ton of work in practice as well. We've had a lot of good work, so I think we're ready. I truly believe that, and we'll see week 1.
What's on K-Dot and going beyond the tight end entering his second year? He's your starter right now. What have you seen from him in camp and also tonight?
Real quiet guy, but turns the switch on when he hits the field. So we're really happy about his playmaking ability. But he's taken a true passionate approach when it comes to the run game and being technically sound with that. And like I keep mentioning, it's about run game first, and those tight ends know that if they help themselves out, the play action stuff is going to be wide open for them.
You had plenty of reps with the first unit, offense, everything like that in practice and against joint practices. But this was your first time in a game having that first unit out there with you. How did you feel the cohesiveness was? How did you feel the tempo was getting in and out of the huddle, the breaks? How did you just feel having that team out there with you?
Operation-wise, I think was extremely clean. I'm really satisfied with that. And just execution-wise, the first group, and that's what we talked about all spring, OTAs, and now into training camp is just communication. Everybody be on the same page, and I think, when you throw guys out there for the first live thing, I think you saw what happens, that we're all on the same page. Good things happen. So just got to continue that and understand that's the most important part.
Baker, you're with a ton of experience coming into this league, and Kyle Trask, who has played part of one quarter in a regular season game, is going to really get into preseason action. What have you seen from him in terms of his growth from competing with him in the OTAs all the way through the preseason? How has he grown and developed as a quarterback in this offense?
I mean, I'll speak from my perspective, but I think Kyle would agree. The growth he's had since OTAs is tremendous. I think he's truly grasped this offense and found how to really run it. And so I think you saw the fun part about when you understand the offense, the passion and the energy, all that comes out. So you saw Kyle excited a couple times tonight, and that's always good to see. That means that he's playing free. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's able to execute.
Baker, you want to make an impact on the field, but tomorrow is your foundation event. Talk a little bit about that and the importance of making a difference off the field as well.
Yeah, appreciate you asking about that.
Yeah, definitely. And that was yesterday, so I wanted to kind of cut that off because I don't want to. Yeah, but great event there at Topgolf. Wish we could have made it out there. Got some good footage and sound, but good things. Yeah, well, they got to have a day off somewhere.
But yeah, and I think what came out of that, which was very interesting, is that Emily, his wife, was like, "Man, I've never seen Baker so fired up about a situation." So he's excited about what he has here, and also that they love Tampa and they want to live here, unlike the last guy.
Well, that's right. And look, he has a great opportunity. If he's successful here, he can earn that second contract. And I mean, you can earn a long-term contract. And according to Madden, because we mentioned this on the post game, they think he's going to throw for what, 4,600 yards and like
this
30.
Is crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't realize this, but the Madden 24. Okay, they did the sim.
Are you a Madden player, by the way?
I've never played it in my life. Never
Really?
played it in my life.
Wow.
Never played it. But I did not realize this, that since they started doing these simulations of the whole season, they predicted the last 3 Super Bowl matchups.
That's amazing.
Think about that.
Right.
Cincinnati.
Right.
Who had the Bengals in the Super Bowl before the season?
Nobody.
Nobody. The Eagles last year. Who had the Eagles in the Super Bowl last year before the season?
Not really
Everybody
anybody.
had Jalen Hurts being a bum.
No.
And so this year they predicted the Bucs and the Chiefs, and that Baker will throw for 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions.
You'll take that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would just normally say it's a stupid video game. It has no bearing. But what's interesting about Madden is, I mean, it's very technically, we're talking about artificial intelligence. I mean, it's very technically sound. They rate every player. And so what that tells me is that people are underrating this roster. We have a lot of guys that have high Madden ratings because they're good players.
Mm-hmm.
And those Madden ratings are based on how they've played, how they're graded, a lot of different stuff. It's not just, hey, this guy's popular, let's give him a 99. No, there's a lot that goes into it. So there is some science to the simulations. And I think it matches up with what my eyes are telling me, is that this offense has a chance to be really, really good. And Baker Mayfield, and I'm going to do a little bit more on this tomorrow in my monologue, but Baker Mayfield has been really, I think, given a negative narrative nationally for a lot of different reasons. And I think a lot of this Buccaneer hate is about their record, is based on the Tom Brady not being here and Baker Mayfield replacing him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just as deep as the analysis goes, as SI saying they're going to win 2 games. Now, listen, if Baker gets hurt and a couple of guys go down the offensive line, yeah, I can see this team. This team is like most teams in the league, paper thin. Nobody has any depth in the offensive line. You get injuries at key places, you're not doing anything. And that goes for the 49ers. Well, maybe not the 49ers. But if Bosa doesn't play and Purdy gets hurt, where are they? There's Sam Darnold,
Not necessarily a great decision, a great situation there.
Yeah. By the way,
Right.
Trey Lance, 3 first-round picks.
And for a 4th-round pick to Dallas. What is Dallas doing?
By the way,
Are they telling Dak something?
Did you hear Dak Prescott's interview?
I did not hear that.
He was not happy.
I wouldn't be either.
He was not happy with them trading for Trey Lance.
How could you be happy? I mean, you just signed him to a big time, one of the biggest contracts in quarterback history, and I get it. He had his own turnover problems, but what does that tell you when you're trading for a former 3rd overall pick for a 4th round?
Which I think doesn't have much merit anyway. The guy,
right?
I never. I mean, I love you, John Lynch, and I don't think that was a John Lynch call, quite frankly. I don't think a defensive guy would be giving up that much for a quarterback who's completely unproven. I just don't think he was on board with that. But whatever. They have to live with it. They got a good football team, so whatever. They got a starting quarterback in the 7th round, so it made up for it.
Right.
You think about it that way. So listen, this Baker Mayfield situation could not be better. This offense fits him to a T. The way they have married Canales with Baker Mayfield, this is one. I've been tough on Todd Bowles, but I'm going to say this, and I could be dead wrong about this offense, but he went out and got a guy. He said this Rams offense gives me fits as a defensive coordinator. I got to get this here. Who can I go get that will come here? Because I'm a lame duck. Nobody's, you couldn't get Todd Monken because he wasn't coming here without knowing who the quarterback was and what the offense was.
Right.
He went and some security. He was smart. He went to the Ravens. He knows I get that. He would have loved to come back here, but not in that situation. So Bowles, he could have hired one of his buddies that he's coached with his entire. You know how many of his buddies were probably knocking down the door to get the OC job, but he didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
He went off the board completely. And this Dave Canales guy came in. He said, "I want, with this Rams offense that gives me trouble. I want you. Can you show me what you know? What are you going to do?" He was blown away by the interview. How can you not be blown away by Dave Canales? He's just so charismatic. And he's so smart. And I think he's going to be a head coach one day. When I first met Robert Saleh and saw that whole deal with him at 49ers, I'm like, that guy's going to be a head coach one day and a good one. And I still think he will be, even though he's working for a disaster of an organization. But Canales strikes me that way.
Right.
And for Todd Bowles to go off the board and go take a guy who's been passed over twice in Seattle to install this offense, and then they got Baker Mayfield to marry to it because they saw the way Baker was working in that LA offense. That was a stroke of we could be looking back, and Madden is right. We could be looking back on this and going, wow, that's a stroke of genius.
Mm-hmm.
And as I look at it right now, and I would have loved to have seen a lot more, and I think you can tell by Baker's interview, he probably would have loved to play a lot more. But I think this offense has a chance to be really good. And if it is, tip of the cap to Todd Bowles for not, going with my buddy to run the offense and going completely off the board and getting somebody who's going to bring you something fresh and innovative. And boy, is that fun to watch. We saw it the other night. I was just, we were sitting next to you. I'm like giddy. I'm like watching all this misdirection and everything that's happening. And we're just seeing like on level 2 of what we're going to see eventually.
Right.
So
we can't even put food in our mouth because it's going snap, snap, snap up to the line.
Was really dry to be quite.
Well, I had the hot dog, and then I had the salad, so I was done for the night. And then I had the halftime.
You judged me when I went back for a hot dog, even though I didn't do Bananas Foster.
You did a hot dog later on.
They did have
right.
Come on, the chili and queso that they have there, and the sauerkraut and the potato bun.
It's pretty good. Pretty good, yeah. The queso and the chili I'll skip on because I got.
Oh no, you marry those flavors together, babe. Come on, outstanding. Not condiments, not needed. All those could be considered condiments.
Sure,
but yeah, fantastic. That hot dog was as good as that offense, man. It was varied. There were a lot of things coming at you. A lot of the queso flavor with the kick and the chili and the sauerkraut, the potato. There's a lot coming at you, and it was a good taste.
Yeah,
left with a good taste in my mouth.
I agree. I think you feel a lot better if you're a Bucs fan out there. And again, we'll try to take calls this week if we're going inside because of the hurricane. Do you feel better about it? That's my question out there to Bucs fans on the JP Peterson show. Do you feel better about this offense? Do you feel better about the season expectations with the way that offense moved the other night against the Ravens? Do you feel better about it? Put it in the comment section.
And I mentioned Baker, but Trey Palmer goes up high, and the way he goes after the football. Most young receivers just kind of wait for it to come to you. They're just not as aggressive as they need to be, and this cat is aggressive. He goes and gets the football. He doesn't care, no face, no name, doesn't care who he's going up against. I love his moxie. Devin Tompkins with a great return. Trey Palmer with we got a return game.
That's amazing. No penalties too. Wow.
Well, I think we had one penalty. I think we had one block in the back. Which we don't block anybody, so how do you block in the back?
But you asked for it on Friday and last week about Keith Armstrong and about the return game, and you got it on Saturday night. That was kind of
two good returns. Well, it helps when you get a guy that doesn't run straight out of bounds like the last guy. Shocking development. So yeah, this is good. We got a return guy. What else? Trey Palmer looked good. Barnes got the touchdown. I'm sorry, Wells had the touchdown outside from Kyle. I thought Kyle Trask looked okay. I thought he missed 3 layups, 2 for touchdowns.
Yeah.
You got guys that open, man. He gets a little bit antsy and overthrows. He's got to calm down a little bit and hit those layups. You got to make those layups. He would have had 2 more touchdown passes and a couple of big gainers. But again, he looks the part. I like what I saw from him.
And you said it best.
Rashad White. White looked fantastic in the run game. He really did.
Trask was decisive. You saw, and I like that. I like decisive quarterbacks. They make a decision, go quick with that decision. And I think, you're going back to the preseason, the couple of preseasons, he hasn't been like that. So you pointed that out in the presser, and I thought that press box, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So
I think all in all, what we saw from the offense was fantastic. I would have liked to have seen more. And I think this offense has a chance to do something. Our sign is falling.
Our sign is falling. Yes.
Our sign is falling. That's not good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll fix the sign.
Yes.
And then we'll come back and we'll hear from Ryan Jensen and we'll get into all that. As we've told you before, we were the first to report this last year that he was going the stem cell route. So we've been on this story for quite some time, and the story has now kind of come full circle for the most part. So we're going to break it all down for you, what it means for the Buccaneers, and what's going to happen on this offensive line. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo is going to join us, a guy very familiar with stem cells. He's been talking about this for a year as well with us, so he's going to join us at the end of our our show from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We'll talk a little bit about the Jensen situation and your health. We'll talk about your health as well. Much more coming your way.
Back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
You have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement cost, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, our 11 o'clock hour brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions. If you got a big meeting coming up or a big birthday or a big charity event or a small one, Extravaganza Productions can set it all up for you, come up with a creative theme for you. In fact, they'll give you a free creative session for just mentioning the JP Peterson Show. So go to their website, extravaganzaproductions.com, contact them through the website, either email them or call them, and they will set that free creative session up. You can go into their office, see their cool warehouse full of all kinds of crazy props, and then come up with a great theme for you and do your party for you flawlessly, or your big business meeting or big charity event. I've worked with them so many times on the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, the Warrior Games, the Pro Padel League. They do it all. So if you want the experts and the pros to do your event, it's Extravaganza Productions, and tell them JP sent you. All right, let's welcome in our good friend TJ Pittenger from the Double Fries No Slop FSU podcast, and been covering FSU for quite some time. What's up, TJ? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. We finally made it. We got a little taste of an appetizer this weekend with some college football, but we finally made it to game week, so it's a good time here.
Yeah, I just love turning on my TV and seeing real college football.
Finally,
Yes.
finally you got it.
Saw a little bit of USC. Saw Caleb Williams. Their defense still sucks. That's interesting. He's amazing, and maybe he'll be a Bucs quarterback. Who knows? But Notre Dame, I thought, looked really good with Sam Hartman. Wake Forest. That's enough. So, what do you think? Anything you gleaned from week 1 or week 0, as they call it?
You know, it's tough because there's not usually a lot of really, really good matchups, right? But I mean, just Hartman looking really comfortable in the pocket. You know, I mean, he certainly started very well. Outside of that, I don't think there's really too many other. I mean, USC, their defense looked a little suspect, but they've got so much talent on offense. I think you kind of expected that. But again, it's week 0. It's early. I don't think you can take a ton away. USC, Notre Dame did what they needed to do. Everybody else, I don't know that anybody else that was playing really matters that much anyway. No offense to those kids. I'm sure they enjoyed playing.
In any poll you want to look at, some will call it a top 5 matchup in some polls. I can't wait to see this game. I mean, I thought FSU dominated that game in the trenches, which I think is a similar matchup, so that's a good thing. I think FSU's skill guys certainly match up with LSU. I think, frankly, these are 2 of the 5 teams in the nation. Can't wait. What are your thoughts on just the overall matchup?
Yeah, no, I think that, there hasn't been a matchup that's been hyped like this since maybe 2017 when Florida State took on Alabama, and it was like a top 5 matchup there, and we were all super jacked for it. But man, LSU and Florida State played down to the absolute wire last year. You're right, though. I thought Florida State dominated that game for, 3.5 quarters, and then LSU did roar back, and Florida State went to some prevent stuff. LSU had a couple of nice drives, no doubt. But I think that, you've got 2 teams that have super high expectations. You've got 2 quarterbacks that are being talked about in the Heisman Trophy race. They both have top 5 odds right now to win, the best trophy outside of the national championship, I guess. And so I think you've got 2 pretty even teams. You get 2 really good coaches. I think people are, as I get a hurricane alert, sorry about that. I think people are really, really excited for this matchup. And, LSU fans want to prove that last year was a fluke, and Florida State fans and their team want to prove that it wasn't. And so I think there's a lot of bragging rights on the line and stuff. And both teams and programs have a ton of respect for each other. And, there's a ton of fun to be had. So this weekend's going to be a ton of fun in Orlando.
Can you talk about Jordan Travis and what you've seen with him the last couple of years, his progressions, and why he's in this conversation of being a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback possibly?
Yeah, I've said this for a few months now, and then I heard somebody that I respect a lot more than myself say it as well. So it made me feel good about kind of being on this bandwagon. But I've never seen somebody progress the way that he has. From a kid that when he came in, I think he threw like 10 passes his first season at Florida State. Like they would not let him throw the ball. If he came in, they were running it every time. To where when Taggart and them left, like he wanted to quit football. He's been on record saying that several times. And then, got a little better in 21, got a little better in 22. Now 23, you're like, whoa, Heisman Trophy possibility here. It's a testament to not only the development that Mike Norvell and his staff have really done and worked with and believed in him. And, Kenny Dillingham, who's out at ASU now, basically had to beat it into his brain that like, no, you are good. You are going to be great one day. And you just got to keep working, and convinced him to not quit. And then it's a testament to Jordan Travis and his work and his, guys don't make progression like this. I can't think of another quarterback who has done this over the course of their career, from literally not being trusted to throw the ball to now 3 or 4 years later talked about with the Drake Mays and the Caleb Williams and things like that. It is remarkable. He's such a great kid. I've gotten a chance to talk with him 3 or 4 times, on record, off record, just different events, different things. And he's so humble. He comes from a great family. His brother played baseball at Florida State, Devin. And they're so humble that they're not, there's nothing wrong about my favorite athlete of all time is Kobe Bryant, and nobody would ever describe him as humble. So I have no problem with athletes that aren't humble, but he's such a great kid. And he's so easy to root for. And, it's really been a fun story to watch over these last few years.
Humility, I think you really hit on it, has really endeared him to his teammates. There are just certain players. 22 season. Mike Norvell had some opportunities to get some very transfers to come in. Guys that have played in the SEC.
Yeah.
Jordan, because he knew this was Jordan's team, and he knew what kind of a leader he was, and he knew how he was developing as a quarterback in this offense. And this offense needs, I think, a very talented, athletic quarterback, which I think Jordan is. I think he's a super special runner. His passing has always been suspect, but that's where I think Dillingham broke down his mechanics, made him so much better, so much more accurate. And now you're seeing the fruits of all of this. I think it was a great decision by Mike Norvell, and it was a roll of the dice, to be honest with you. I don't think he even thought Jordan could do it. He sits here with a guy that's, I think, a bona fide Heisman Trophy winner. Just to add to what you said on Jordan. So to move it forward, I'll ask you this. Let's talk about the weapons he's working with. That he has matured to know that he doesn't have to do it all now. He's got an offensive line that's going to give him protection. He just needs a point guard, get it to Johnny Wilson, get it to Keon Coleman, and this group of other. Let's talk about all those guys.
Yeah. I certainly probably sound like I'm drinking so much Kool-Aid that it's not even funny, but I truly don't know how you guard Florida State's offense at this point. I wouldn't call their offensive line, and so we'll start there. If there's a weak part on this offense, maybe it's the offensive line. I still think it's like top 20, top 25 in college football. So it's the best that they've had since the 2013 year. I think it's even deeper than the 2013 year. I just don't think it's as like talented NFL prospect-wise. So I think it's the best they've had since Jameis was there. You move to the running backs. Pro Football Focus has Trey Benson as RB1 right now in the draft for next season. That's ridiculous. You've got a guy that's in the top 3 or 5 of Heisman odds at quarterback. And then, oh, by the way, 6'7" Johnny Wilson. You've got the most talented tight end transfer in Jaheim Bell that came in. Kyle Morlock is a 6'7" guy that the depth chart just came out. He is a starter on the depth chart as well. You mentioned Keon Coleman, the best wide receiver transfer in the portal. Oh, by the way, they've got Destin Hill in, who they've been waiting on for 2.5 years. And other guys, too. Winston Wright had nearly 1,000 yards at West Virginia 2 years ago. Got in a got in a car accident that could have been tragic. Didn't play last year, but he's back. They've got a lot of talent that we're not even mentioning. They got a 5-star in Hakeem Williams that came in this year, who is down low on the – you got a 5-star like buried on the depth chart right now because you've just got so much talent. And so, yeah, I don't know how you guard it, right? If you're LSU, they've got some concerns in their secondary, and you've got to go out there and gel, right? We had to go out and see. I'm not trying to make this comparison. I am such a homer saying this. We had to see how like all those playmakers would work with the Warriors, right? That's what it reminds me of, though. Like you've got to see how all that meshes together. But if it does, man, it could be nasty. Adding Keon Coleman, though, is kind of like adding KD to that already loaded Warriors offense. The Noles finished top 10 in offensive statistics last year and offensive efficiency. And then they went out and added Jaheim Bell, Kyle Morlock, Hakeem Williams, Destin Hill, and Keon Coleman. That's dumb. That is just dumb.
transferring at this point is your biggest worry, I think.
And TJ, what do you think is the biggest factor that could hold them back besides the offensive line? Because you spoke about that. The expectations are there. You talk about all the talent on both sides of the ball. What's one thing that worries you about this team?
Yeah, I mean, you got to get off to a good start. You play LSU and Clemson, and I'm making Florida State sound really good. LSU's really talented too, and so you play LSU and Clemson early, and you're a slight underdog in both those games. Now it's light, like it's like 3 points each way, right? So you're not like going into these as like 10-point dogs, and oh my god, how can we find a way to win? But you've got to. I mean, your season it won't be over, because if you offer to most FSU fans, hey, you go 10-2, you get a rematch against Clemson in the ACC championship, then you go to New Year's 6, that's not a bad year at all, right? Like that's a really good year considering where they've come from. But if you start
with all the expectations and all
you start 2-2. I think you're kind of let down. So you've got to get off to a good start. You got to find a way to win one of these two games. If not, I mean, you win both, you're probably penciling in a trip to the playoff at that point. But you got to start well. You got to see the secondary take a step up. Last year that was a liability for them. Defensive line was good. Linebacking core was good. Secondary kind of let up at times, but they got the number one cornerback in the Power 5 transferring in Fintrell Cypress, and the depth chart literally came out 15 minutes ago, and he's listed as a starter. And so I think the secondary will take a step up, but that's probably the biggest area of concern for me. And I wouldn't even call it concern. I just want to see it. They're good on paper. We need to see it. I mean, you're going to get a chance to see it week 1 against a really talented LSU offense.
Of lineman, if he's going to get that waiver reevaluated to this kid. I can't believe the NCAA is doing this. What are you getting any info on that?
Yeah, I'm not super optimistic, and I'm usually, as you heard, for 15 minutes now, I've raved about how great everything is. I'm not super optimistic. I've spoken with some people who are a little bit more than I am, that something could come through. I don't expect anything to come through this week. If something was to come through later in the year, I mean, I guess that wouldn't shock me. But I don't see the NCAA moving off of this. I mean, shoot, we've had Governor DeSantis, we've had the state of Florida CFO, we've had members of Congress, we've had senators reach out, and the NCAA is like, nah, we're God, we're not doing anything. And so I think, you've got the nerds in suits up there at the NCAA deciding. Same thing for Mason Smith. I mean, it's frustrating. Does it help FSU? Absolutely. Is it frustrating that a kid can't play in the biggest game of the season? Absolutely. Like, it's stupid. So yeah, I'm not super hopeful that anything changes there. I'd love to be wrong there. I'd love for this to get clipped and old takes exposed, but I'm actually not super, super hopeful that anything happens quickly. Maybe later on in the year as they continue to push, but I mean, shoot, you won him week 1. You won him, you won him against your toughest 2 games, LSU and Clemson.
Could be not having him that's a tough, close to his mom, and I know he's transferred twice, but whatever. I said this about Harbaugh, and I should say this about Mason Smith, and about just go out and play. Because the NCAA going to do? Send a tape? What are they going to do? Fine you?
Yeah.
What are they going to say? You're ineligible? Say, screw you. I'm not there playing. What are they going to do? Zero power anymore. The conferences run college football.
Yeah.
Like, if I were him, I'd be sue the NCAA, because they don't want that liability on their head. The amount of money that they could be taking out of this kid's pocket because of what he's going to make in the NFL. You're diminishing his value by doing this. I'd sue the hell out of him.
Yeah.
That's in the secondary. Let's dig in on the defense a little bit. I think front 7 is vastly improved with this new Brandon Fisk coming in. The linebackers bother me a little bit. No depth on the inside linebackers. Jordan Verse, from what we hear, has been unblockable. Should have been a top 5 pick in last year's NFL draft. But it is that secondary that still bothers me a little bit. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they upgraded. They certainly upgraded by getting Fintrell Cypress. I like what Renardo Green and Jarian Jones have done to continue to develop and get better. I think that Jones and Green are much better players than they were 2 years ago. I think they're a little bit better now than they even were last year. So if they continue to develop and get better, and then you add in a Fintrell Cypress, which, you add a cornerback one that kind of reduces responsibilities for everybody else, puts them into a little bit more of a cornerback 2, cornerback 3 natural role where you're not having to rely on a guy that's probably a CB2 to cover somebody else's best. Probably makes, not only does the ceiling raise, but the floor does too. So I like a lot of the talent out there. I like Azariah Thomas. He was nearly a 5-star coming out of high school 2 years ago. He played quite a bit last year for a true freshman, but he'll play even more this year. I think he'll actually be, your 4th best corner behind those top 3. Safety depth worries me a little bit, but if your biggest worry is the depth of safeties, and you're happy with your starters, then I think you're in a pretty good spot there. So I'm encouraged. I'm hopeful. It's the position grouping that I'm probably least confident in, but that's just because I haven't seen it. On paper, I think they've upgraded a ton. I think they're in a really good spot. I just need to see it happen. And again, you get a chance week 1 against Neighbors and some really talented LSU guys to put your money where your mouth is.
All right, DJ, my last question is the overconfidence card. That's the other thing I think can derail this team. Some people I know we have on the show that have been around the team say that's not an issue. Norvell's got them dialed in. They're not taking the cheese. You don't know that until you go out and see them play. But what's your thoughts on that that part of it?
Yeah, I asked Mike about that, and I just said, like, hey, you've been able to play like the nobody believes in us card for 3 years that you've been here. Is it hard to play the hey, now everybody believes in us card? And he was like, to me, I thought his answer was great for this. And I think a lot of times coaches just have coach speak, but I really did think this was a great answer. He said, to me, I am glad that we're getting that recognition, and I'm glad that we're getting that outside noise that's positive. But I've tried to train the guys that it doesn't really matter what's said on the outside, because I don't want to be a wishy-washy coach, and I don't want to tell them like, hey guys, what they were saying last year didn't matter, but what they're saying this year does matter. And so we just worry about what's happening in this building, and we worry about the expectations that we have for ourselves. And he's like, I'm glad that they're saying positive things because this is a good team and they deserve to be talked about positively, but we don't really care. And if I tell them in 2022, hey, don't listen to the noise, but in 2023, do listen to it, and then Jordan and Jared and all these guys are gone in 2024, and I say, hey, block it out again, then I'm a wishy-washy coach, and I need to be consistent and standard. And I was like, dang, that's a great answer. So if his team is listening to him, I feel good about it. And I don't think that the expectations will be too much. I don't think that they'll read their own press clippings. At least I'm hoping. And I think they'll be in a pretty good spot for this year.
Partner, great to have you on. Go ahead and promote your podcast and all your content.
Yeah, it's just double fries, no slaw everywhere. Good little shout out to Guthrie's there in Tallahassee. If you've been in Tallahassee at any point past midnight, so double fries, no slaw everywhere. YouTube is the main spot, but you can search it on any app and we're there. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Come on anytime, PJ. We love it. Thanks,
Thanks, boys.
Brought to you by folks at Italiano Insurance with our FSU report today. Our good friends over there, big-time Seminole fans. Nat Italiano played for FSU back in the day, so
nice.
We thank them for their consistent sponsorship. And by the way, go let them save you money. They did it again for a friend of mine with homeowners insurance. I got a note the other day. They shopped his homeowners insurance. They jacked up his homeowners insurance by $3,000 in 1 year. $3,000. Like he's like, what? So they shopped it around. There was an increase, but not a $3,000 increase.
Right.
It went up by about $1,300. So do the math. My FSU math tells me you saved $1,700. So they'll let them shop it around. Let them do all the shopping. You do all the saving. 813-877-7799. Great customer service. Great folks over there. Tell them JP sent you when you call them up. Just call them. Free call. Let them
That's
shop
it.
around.
I never been to Guthrie's, by the way, in Tallahassee. I never been to Tallahassee. I need to get out there.
Never been to Tallahassee?
I've never been to Tallahassee. Nope.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I have no idea.
You never been to a game at Doe Campbell Stadium?
Never. And I've been a Florida State fan since when I was 8 years old. My dad sat me down and listened. You're going to leave the house. You're going to be only a Florida State fan, and you're going to like all Tampa teams. If not, you're leaving the house. Get out.
See, that's what your dad. May he rest in peace. I love that guy.
Yeah,
that's
me
how
too.
That's how you parent, right there. There's no wishy-washy stuff going on here.
Right.
Like you either
go to the corner
or you're out.
You're out.
That's all there is.
He always used to say, "I brought you into this world, Peter Blake. I'll take you out."
I'll take you out. Absolutely. All right. We'll take a quick break. Then we're going to get to the Ryan Jensen stuff. We're going to get to the whole interview. A very curious situation, to say the least. Never seen anything like this. Will he play again? I don't know. We'll hear Ryan answer that question and more. We're brought to you by the great folks at Gold and Diamond Source. If you have any gold bullion hanging around the house, who doesn't? Gold coins, silver flatware, like mom used to bust out for Thanksgiving, sitting in the china case, go get some money for it. Bring it down there. They'll weigh it out for you, tell you what it's worth. It could be worth a lot of money, lots of money. Cold hard cash, which, times are tough these days. The Gold and Diamond Source can do that for you. And of course, if you're looking for an engagement ring, there's no other place, any jewelry item, no other place you want to go. Great selection, tremendous staff, great folks in the community. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Omerton Road, right over the bridge if you're coming from Tampa, and online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. During COVID, over 1.7 million people were added to the Florida Medicaid rolls, but as of April 1st, 2023, most of these people may not be eligible for the Medicaid coverage and will lose their health plan. If you have been notified you are losing your coverage, don't freak out. It's very likely you can apply for a federal subsidy under the Affordable Care Act. Just call 877-652-0244. Our representatives will walk you through the whole process, get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. You can select great plans like Florida Blue. That's my carrier. Love them. Paying $800 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. Our highly trained professionals know all the intricacies of the new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. So if you're being dropped from Medicaid, fear not. Call 877-652-0244. Get real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244. Hey, JP here for Extravaganza Productions Incorporated, EPI. You've probably seen their purple logo at so many events that you've gone to. They are based in Tampa. And for over 33 years, they've been creating and producing conferences, meetings, and special events, the biggest to the smallest. Solid reputation of delivering the best audio-visual, sound, lighting, entertainment, video production, and decor on time and on budget. I've worked with them with so many big events. The Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-style event all over Tampa Bay, from McDill to the Convention Center to USF. They did it flawlessly, made it look big and fantastic. I've worked with them on small events as well, large and small meetings and conferences, sporting events, fundraisers. If you got a fundraiser, you don't know the logistical way to pull it off, they'll take care of everything. Entertainment events, branding events, grand openings, so much more. The folks at Extravaganza Productions are the most professional and the best. I've worked with them many times. They are fantastic. You can contact them through extravaganzaproductions.com or call 813-621-4700. Extravaganza Productions, they are awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by American Mortgage Services. If you're looking for a new mortgage, no one will get you better rates than the folks at American Mortgage Services, Clayton and our good friend Scott Fitzgerald. You can reach them over there, scott@amstampa.com. Just give him an email. He'll give you a free session. He'll sit down with you, look at your finances and say, let's get the refi here. This is what your house is worth. You can pay off these credit cards. This is what your monthly payment would be. This is how much more money you'll have to spend at the end of the month. So if you got some equity in your home, you're thinking, wow, interest rates are too high. They're a lot lower than your credit cards. That's for damn sure. So get that refi. You could be saving hundreds, maybe over $1,000 a month just in your monthly nut by lowering those interest rates. So it's a big, big deal. And he'll do all that for free. So Scott@amstampa.com. He'll sit down with you, consult on all your stuff. If you want to get a mortgage for a new home, there's a lot of different places you could go, but he will shop all the different banks, not just one, and get you the best rate and the lowest fees. So it's a no-brainer. If you're in the market for that, Scott@AMStampa, and tell him JP sent you. All right, let's get into the Ryan Jensen thing now. So this was kind of weird. In the middle of the game, I guess third quarter, Jason Light went on Channel 8 and announced that Ryan Jensen was going on injured reserve. And, I know some people get butthurt that they weren't the first to know or didn't have this story, and it was that the Bucs decided to put it on TV. It's whatever. Who cares? Like this is how they decided to put it out there. Tristan Wirfs said they knew about it a couple weeks ago. I think that I don't know what the advantage was for holding this information back. Maybe my guess is they were trying to go get a center on the open market and didn't want people to know they were desperate.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they were trying to make a trade for a center, and they wanted to keep the illusion that that Ryan Jensen was going to play, and they weren't that desperate. I don't know. I think teams see through that if you're looking for a center, but whatever. If it gives you an advantage, then that's the way they should play it. I mean, I don't know. I don't care when they tell us or what, we knew he wasn't practicing.
Right.
So we're not stupid. Obviously, he was clearly not going to be a factor for the most part. So.
Is it shocking news? I think to a certain, it's not shocking at all. I mean, I think the announcement more than anything else was kind of shocking, but
I guess Todd likes, makes, hey,
little
press conference, Baker's our starter.
That's it. Little suspense.
Jason wants to come on and say, yeah, hey, we're putting Ryan Jensen on the injured reserve, whatever. It's a sad situation. And as I said, we were the first to tell you about the stem cell stuff last year and that he was going to go that route. And again, he did something no one's ever done. And that's within 6 months, heal a torn PCL, a partially torn ACL. I think not the UCL.
MCL. Yeah.
Was also torn. And as you'll hear in this interview, and I asked him about this, all the ligaments healed for him to play in that game. So let's go ahead and play the interview, and then we'll get into some of the questions that it brings up.
Hey guys, obviously news broke today about me getting put on IR, and breaks my heart. There's nothing more I want to do than be a part of this team. This organization has changed my life, and unfortunately, my knee just wasn't progressing in an upward, positive way. I fought my butt off. I put more work in this off season than I've done in probably my entire career, and it just wasn't responding how it needed to respond for me to go out there and play at a high level. And it sucks. But I know, I want to be around this team and help out the young guys and mentor the guys on the line and do whatever I can do to be part of this team and help this team win football games.
Ryan, first I want to say sorry about the news that broke, but I want to ask, what is evaluation, what is going to happen in the future? Are you thinking about maybe exploring surgery to be able to come back next season?
Yeah, no, I think we're just going to attack it and do as much as we can to get the knee better. You know, with different opinions from doctors, you know, surgery for what's going on in the knee probably wouldn't help. It'd probably actually deter it and make it worse. But, you know, I'm going to fight and do whatever I can do to get this knee healthy.
Was there any moment that you kind of felt like there was a setback?
No, I don't think there was ever necessarily a setback. It was, you know, feeling good coming into camp, like I, you know, had communicated to you guys in that first presser that I did with you guys, and just through, you know, our plan that we had going day on, day off, you know, I was feeling pretty good the first couple of days, and then started to get a little bit sore and then painful in the lateral compartment. When I first got hurt, after my first imaging, the biggest concern was that lateral compartment with the cartilage damage and stuff that happened on that side of the knee. You know, everything else pretty much healed how we've expected it to heal. All the ligaments are fine and intact. It's just that lateral compartment is kind of deteriorating a little bit, and now it's just managing that and figuring out how to make it feel better.
Is there any regret about your decision last year to not have surgery, or is it just not an option?
No, you know, I don't have any regret about that decision. I think it is what it is at this point, but you know, everything went to plan how we expected it. Again, like I had mentioned, when I got that first MRI, the biggest concern was that lateral compartment and the cartilage damage. So that's what I'm dealing with right now.
Ryan, you played in the playoff game, and you went through some practices to be able to be cleared to do that. Did that playing in that game, did that do any potential damage to set you back here?
No, I don't think so. You know, we did a bunch of imaging before and after that game, and there was nothing, you know, glaring. You know, obviously a little bit of swelling in that MRI post game, but there's nothing that happened in that game that would have set me back.
Nobody's ever tried to go the stem cell route with this injury before. Should somebody try it again, in your opinion, or is just the cartilage thing the kind of weird part of it?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest part of the whole injury was where the cartilage damage was at in the knee is the biggest thing. You know, my ligaments on imaging, everything that was torn, my MCL, my PCL, my ACL was pretty severely sprained. It wasn't torn all the way through, but imaging now shows that they're healed and intact. So I mean, I guess I'd recommend it. You know, we just had the one thing that, you know, was the biggest question mark enough to get go.
Is there any worry or concern that you learned your last down in football, or are we going to see you now?
I mean, like I said, I'm going to fight my butt off and try to do whatever I can to play football again and you know, give it my best shot. Yeah, for sure. You know, Rob has taken some major steps from last year to this year, and it's awesome to see him come into his own. This offense is great for him. You know, a lot more zone type schemes and stuff like that. And from what I've seen, he's been doing a fantastic job, and it's been awesome to watch that progression with him because he's a young player, and you know, he gets the game and he loves the game. So it's awesome to see that.
I was going to ask you, Ryan, you know, you were going through your recovery last year, and I don't know how much you were around the team as much, but it certainly seems like you're going to be around the team more. How does that lift your spirits a little bit, knowing that you're still going to be part of this team, not having to necessarily go through all of the rehab with the injury at the same time like you did last year?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, you know, the difference from last year was I was so solely focused on getting my knee right and getting it better. And that's going to be my focus this year too, but also to, you know, a little different scenario with the severity of what's going on. But to be able to go and, you know, be in meetings, help these young guys develop and, you know, help Goody and Joe as much as, you know, I can to help these young guys come and, you know, start the trajectory into a high level.
Jason Light had mentioned that you also have kind of taken to Cody a lot, the right guard. Is it about more than the red hair?
Yeah, it's definitely more about the red hair. But no, Cody is a great young player. watching his progression over just the last 5 weeks of camp has been awesome. The kid, he wants to learn. He wants to be a great football player. So he takes coaching from Goody, from Joe, from me. Whenever he has a question, he wants to bounce off of me. So he's a kid that is going to be a really good football player.
It's about more time that's needed for you to heal, or are you going to change your approach in this level?
No, I think right now it's just time and do what we need to do to get it feeling better.
I know there's been communication, but when was that decision made? Like when Jason, like I said, it was emotional.
Yeah, it sucked. It was hard, going in and all I want to do is play football. I love playing football. I love being out there with the guys and going to battle with them. I know I hadn't practiced in a couple weeks, but that was just part of the plan, and it just got to the point a day or two ago where it was the decision had to be made. So.
It's such an unknown. It's such an unknown. Why make the decision for the whole season? You just definitely know it's not 3 weeks, 2 months. It's not going to be better.
I mean, there's so much unknown with that. The worst thing to do is rush back on that and make a bigger problem than is already there.
Good. Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
So there's a lot going on here, and that last question I asked, is really, I was interested to know, like, if this cartilage thing is the only thing that's holding it back, and all the ligaments are intact, and they're still attacking the cartilage thing, how do they know it's going to be a 4-month injury where it's not going to get better in 4 months? So putting him on, they could have put him on long-term IR with, to see if he can come back after 11 weeks, 10, 11 weeks. I'm not sure what it is. So why did they not choose to do that? And I don't know this, but I don't know what the exact parameters are.
Mm-hmm.
But if players if they're under a long-term contract and they have a career-ending injury, then I believe there's some insurance that comes in to help pay that out and they're not going to get any salary cap relief, but I think there may be some financial gain by just declaring him out for the year.
Right.
But I'm not positive about that. I'll have to look into that and find out exactly what that is. They don't want to take up a roster spot, and to me, this kind of feels like he doesn't want to say it's the end of his career, but I think it's the end of his career because he's they've healed the ligaments, the injury, and I know Jordan has said this, and that's why I asked the question, do you regret not having the surgery? And I asked a follow-up question on that as well. The surgery, according to the doctors, and I know people keep thinking that they know better, because they don't know about stem cells, and just because someone goes out of the country to get stem cells done doesn't mean it's some wacky, crazy thing. Our FDA does not allow this stem cell procedures that the world is using to great effect. Now we have to go outside our own country to get these things that heal people. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean it's crazy. They actually have doctors in other places that do good stuff. Believe it or not.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And stem cells are amazing. He came back and played in a game. Nobody's ever done that before. So if it's this cartilage issue, sometimes you have a career-ending injury. Sometimes there's damage done to a knee that surgery can't fix. And I think that's what we're looking at right here. And, we saw, Ryan's got young kids. He's got a wife. He's got a lot of money.
Yeah, you could see him getting emotional too when he was
Super Bowl ring.
Right.
Why the hell would you want to come back and play football?
Right. I
wouldn't.
I mean, you could see him getting emotional with the first press conference when he came back, and I don't know. Maybe there was something to that. Maybe he kind of knew in the back of his mind this may be the last time because he had no improvement.
Yeah.
So
and this whole narrative that he should have got surgery, why does you don't see the MRI, you don't know what the doctor said,
Right.
You don't know. That's what he's telling us. That's what the doctors are saying. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe he's like, maybe I should have, gone. All we can go by is what he's telling us and what the team is telling us.
Correct.
Short of, having an interview here with his doctor and looking at his MRI, these things happen. And maybe the cartilage damage is just so much that they can't repair that surgically to a point where he's got to play center in the NFL. I'm sure they could repair it so he can walk around and play with his kids. But, to hook up with a 350-pound nose tackle for 3 hours a game, maybe it's just too much to ask for the injury that he has. So
yeah.
I think it's I think it's wise for us to just understand and get it that's what happened here.
Maybe not just assume that because he got surgery that everything was going to be fine, because there's no guarantee it was.
No.
He could have gotten surgery and still have not been, healed from this and not been as effective as he was. So.
All right, well, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back with Chris Lugo from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. He's been following this. He knows a lot about stem cells. He sends a lot of his clients overseas to get stem cells. Yeah, it works, actually. So we'll get some expert opinion from him on this and also talk about your health. If you have any questions, by the way, about nutrition, losing weight, testosterone, anything, put them in our comment section. We'll pass them on to the doc next, and we'll get those questions answered for you. So stay with us. Quick break. Chris Lugo, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, coming back next. Stay with us. Old coins sitting around the house. Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement cost, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking to lose weight or just lean up for bathing suit season where there are so many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there? You don't know where to start, right? We'll start at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and will help you keep the weight off Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently. Many of these other approaches are designed for the masses. So how's that going to work for you specifically? It's not. Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you so the weight comes off safely without the use of harmful drugs and side effects. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, we're back. Thanks to our good folks at Extravaganza Productions, the Golden Diamond Source, and the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. And one of our other great sponsors, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Chris Lugo, the medical director, joins us now. What's up, Chris? How are you, my friend? Hopefully you had a good training session last week with the National Guard. No injuries. You all right?
That's a silly question. I mean, come on. We get to do some fun things. We were doing water jumps from helicopters. Come on. It doesn't get much better than that. I was hanging out in some Zodiacs and pulling people out from the water. It doesn't get much better. And thank you for your taxpayer money allowing me to do that.
What did you jumped out of a helicopter into the water?
I was pulling guys out. Yes. So we were doing jumps out of Chinooks.
How far do they fall down? Did they jump out?
Altitude for this one was roughly about 1,000 to 1,500, depending on which chalk was going out. We got some guys who like to go a little higher.
Okay, so they have a parachute.
Correct.
Sometimes they go lower and jump in the water from 20, 30 feet, 40 feet. I don't know what it is, but
those are low altitude ones. Yeah, but a lot of these are coming in from parachutes. You're breaking up on me.
Can you hear me now?
I got you. Yes.
Okay. Wanted to ask you, I know you saw the Ryan Jensen interview. There were a lot of questions specifically from me. What were your overall thoughts on what you heard from him?
We chatted a few weeks ago about this where I said, hey, don't be surprised if you hear that he's going to need something else done because he hasn't been practicing, right?
Right.
And I preface that whole with he's an athlete. He gets paid as a job to do what he does. He is not you. He is not me. So I'm not surprised. Let me give you an example. I got a guy who tore an ACL. We're ramping up for a deployment possibly here in the next so often. He needs to get that fixed. So I'm not going to recommend stem cells for him for an ACL. He's a high functioning guy. Okay. So you and me who are regular people who have 9-to-5 jobs, not a big deal. Someone who's a high functioning, who needs that thing to turn on a dime, it's a different story.
Him specifically, he said the ligaments were all healed and it was a cartilage issue, something in the lateral compartment. Can you tell us anything about that?
You said it best about 10 minutes ago when you said you haven't seen the films, you haven't interviewed the surgeon, you don't know exactly what's happening in that knee except for what Ryan's telling us. So anytime I get a lay person trying to translate something a medical provider has said to them, I don't know who has said it to them, what jargon they used, how they dumbed it down. Who knows how they interpret it, right? Because you've been that patient before. I've been that patient before where I'm thinking about a lot of different stuff going through my brain. How am I processing that information that's coming out? And then am I able to translate it back to other people?
Yeah, and I think what everybody, the layperson out there is saying, well, he should have got surgery. And he's telling us that the surgery would not have helped. In fact, it may have made it worse. And I'm wondering why. I think people, when they hear stem cells, Chris, they're just like, oh, this is some hocus pocus. He goes to Antigua and are doing these things. And, why wouldn't you just get regular surgery? But first of all, address that just because you're going overseas to get this done doesn't mean it doesn't work, right? Can you talk? We've talked about this a lot on this show, but I think a lot of people still don't understand it.
Couple things. One, two things. Let's talk about the stem cells themselves and what they do and why we do them, but then also surgery. Surgery, first and foremost, the human body is not intended to be opened up with a knife, metal instruments, or hands stuck inside without bad things happening. And when I say bad things, scar tissue. If you've had any kind of abdominal surgery in that consent form, besides you're going to die possibly during the procedure, it's going to say scar tissue is going to develop. If you have any kind of abdominal surgery, your chance of getting an incarcerated piece of bowel or strangulation of bowel, getting a bowel obstruction from scar tissue, exponentially increases after that happens. Okay. When you're sticking instruments inside of knees, now you're going to increase the chance of more scar tissue from having instruments in there, throwing sutures in there. So it's always, and look, this was not just one little ACL. This was a multitude of anatomical features inside his knee that got obliterated. So that's another thing. And the stem cells, you said it best. We think that we know everything here in the United States and everybody else sucks when it comes to medicine, and that is not the case. As we all know, you and I have chatted before, the FDA rules this country. Big pharma rules this country. Unless you've been under a rock here for the past couple of years, I think you've realized that big pharma rules this country. So they're not allowing those stem cells. Once the FDA allows the Pfizer and all these other companies to make stem cells, it's going to catch on like wildfire. But also a bigger thing is people want their insurance to pay for it. Okay, so because it is expensive to pay cash.
This point, not the case, and why people go overseas.
Correct. I mean, overseas has the technology just like we have technology here too.
And it's a lot cheaper over there. Frankly. So
it's a lot cheaper.
That's why a lot of people are doing this. It's not just, for surgeries that are needed, but elective surgeries. A lot of things, people are choosing to go to Ecuador, to Colombia, you send patients over there. So if people are interested in this, you've done your research and you're sending, in fact, you're going down to Costa Rica, right? To look at a clinic that you're sending people to, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. There's a new clinic opening up, a sister company from the Colombia one that we're going to check out. But look, don't take my word for it. I mean, everyone looks at me and go, "Oh, you're just trying to sell me something." Talk to Joe Rogan. Talk to Mel Gibson. Joe Rogan had a great podcast on stem cells. And he'll tell you the best thing he ever did in his life was getting stem cells for his shoulder. I just lost you.
Just stem cells in my knee for my own stem cells, which are allowed to do in this country. I don't know if it's changed because that was 5 or 6 years ago, and it worked tremendously for me. Yeah. So I'm a huge, huge believer. Before we go, I wanted to ask you about this new COVID variant that we're hearing about, and specifically for parents out there, for kids. I mean, we've just gone through what we went through. We've learned a lot. I mean, if you're paying attention, there was a lot of stuff that was out there that wasn't true about COVID, about vaccines, about everything. So if we're going through this again, what are your recommendations for people with kids as far as school goes and themselves? What do you think?
The last 2 to 4 weeks, I'm hearing a lot more people getting sick. And then my joke to them is, have you swabbed for COVID? And I get a couple smart ass answers. COVID doesn't exist. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Look, it does exist, but it's a new kind of common cold. And what I'm seeing in the last 2 to 4 weeks is a lot of common cold symptoms. And you and I know both common colds have put a couple people on their butts before and made them feel miserable for a few days. So stay ahead of it. If you're getting something, don't be afraid to swab for COVID, just so you know. It's always good to know exactly what you have. We can't swab for the common cold, all right, because that thing is mutated so many times. It's pitiful. But stay ahead on your vitamin regimen. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, quercetin, get ahead of those things. A lot of these people that I'm talking to don't need something, but just a little bit of support right now. Really and truly. I would be probably more worried about getting the flu than getting COVID with this variant as of today, right? That could change in a month. Who knows? But right now I'm saying, hey, just be cognizant of what you got and just be cognizant of people around you and just try to stay healthy. Keep your hands from your face. Don't cough in front of people. It's kind of taboo now, as we all know. My mom just got COVID. She's texting me as we're speaking right now. She worried about giving it to my dad. Wear a mask while you're in the house. Keep your hands from your face. You can still do whatever. You can sleep in the same bed. Just don't cough on the guy. Okay.
All right, partner. And if they want to get in touch with you, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Go through the website and an appointment, and you will spend gobs and gobs of time with them. Not the 15 minutes that everybody else gets to spend with their patients now.
Appreciate it, JP.
I just think this was great for people to understand. I know Bucs fans are frustrated. Why didn't you get to surgery? Why didn't you get to surgery? I get that, but stop thinking that stem cells aren't a thing. They are the wave of the future. Athletes all over the place are using them to come back from using surgery and this. And we have to take Ryan at his word that surgery was not a good option here. And I think Doc explained it very, very well there.
I mean, he would know. He knows his own body, and the Bucs have medical personnel that knows what's going on. So you just have to trust them. And is it disappointing at the end of the day? Yeah, of course it is. But there was no guarantee, even if he got surgery, that he was going to be healthy this year in the first place.
Right.
You just assume that everybody's body is different.
It's career. It's probably a career-ending injury.
Yeah,
it is what it is. You move on, and the Bucs are going to have to move on with Robert Hainsey, who wasn't terrible last year. Just average, and hopefully will be better this year.
Agree.
And certainly within this offense, it's more varied. It'll help him out. It'll help out all the offensive linemen. All right, great job, my friend. Well done.
Absolutely.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Great.
Appreciate you.
Thank you guys for all your comments. Our thanks to TJ Pitger, who joined us from the Double Fries No Slaw podcast. Check out that podcast if you're an FSU fan. Much more to come this week as we follow the Buccaneers as they get ready for the Vikings, FSU, LSU, Florida, Utah coming up on Thursday. We'll get into that as well. Thanks for joining us. We will see you tomorrow.